This is the final synthesis project by Rohlf. Okay, so my big main construct I decided to create as my umbrella term would be writing, because that's what the four main constructs that we're going to be talking about today would be under. So my constructs are circled in gray. I have the writing process, the 6 traits of writing, writing workshop, and balanced literacy. Now, I chose to break up my graphic organizer a little bit differently because of the way I saw this content. So I put the writing process and the 6 traits of writing at the top because I feel like those are the ultimate goals that the teacher is wanting the students to accomplish. We want the students to go through the writing process of rehearsing, pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, sharing, and publishing. And as a teacher, it is our role to guide and facilitate that. Then I also put under it the 6 traits of writing because these are the ideas, organization, voice, word choice, and fluency, and conventions. Those are the ultimate goals that we want the students to master in their writing. Now, writing workshop and balanced literacy, I broke up into student roles, teacher roles, and shared responsibilities because I feel that those are the examples or ways that we can get the students to ultimately go through the writing process and the 6 traits of writing. They're those training tools and practices that the teacher and the students will use in the classroom in order to accomplish their writing goals. So, for example, I already talked about the teacher roles in the writing process and the 6 traits of writing. But now moving into the writing workshop, that would be a 3-step process, and the first one would start with the teacher. The teacher's job would be to introduce a mini lesson on possibly the 6 traits of writing or a weak point that the student would have. And then it would move over into student roles because that student would then have the time to practice that skill and have their own independent writing time. Then it would move into shared responsibilities and sharing time because the student and the teacher would be talking together, discussing the work, what the student learned, what could be improved, and possibly setting future goals. Now, in the balanced literacy approach, the teacher and students have a lot of shared roles, and they also have independent roles. So starting in interactive writing, the student and teacher would be bouncing ideas off each other. It would be an exercise, but the student would actually be the one holding the pencil. They would be writing in the balanced literacy approach. In shared writing, this differs a little bit because the teacher actually writes in this one. This is like an exercise. It would be like modeling or a mini lesson introduction, but the teacher would actually be writing with student input. And then the independent writing portion of balanced literacy would be in the student role because the student would then take whatever learning and processing that they went through in either an interactive writing or shared writing, and they would put it into practice into their own writing. So ultimately, I put under student roles writing. That's the goal. We want the students to go through the writing process and to master the 6 traits of writing, and as a teacher, it's our job to facilitate that. So that's how I ended up breaking up my final synthesis. Thanks for listening.